Hello everybody, I'm off at Gemini and I'm giving my first shot at recording a lesson here for you. I'm at home, I've got my laptop out and my computer on, and we're going to look at equations of lines. By now you should have a note sheet out, and most of the problems we do, all of the problems we do are on the note sheet along with some extra notes I'm going to give you here. So the first equation you need to know is something we've already worked on called slope, intercept, form. Intercept, form. And that is y equals mx plus b. M is our slope, and b is the y-intercept. That's the place where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay, so take a second and get that down. The next form we're going to look at is called point slope form. Point slope form. And that form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. M is the slope, and x1, y1 is any point on the line. Alright, so good. Now let's take a look at a couple of these problems. Going to get super fancy here for me at home. I'm going to try and grab something off my computer. Let's see. Hey, that looks like a problem. So, what we want to do here is we want to graph y equals 2/5 x plus 2. And the slope of that line is 2/5. And the y-intercept is a positive 2. So where we want to start on the y-axis with our value for b. We're going to come over here, we're going to plot a point right there at 2 on the y-intercept, or on the y-axis. And then we're going to use our slope. And so we remember for slope, it's always the rise over the run. So from this point right here, from the y-intercept, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rise up 2 units. 1, 2, and I'm going to run, there's my 2, and I'm going to run 5 units. Run is left to right, it's positive, so I go to the right. And what I have now is a location for my new point. It's going up 2 and over 5. And now, to graph that line, I simply draw a line between those points. Ooh, yay! So that's our first problem. And that's on your note sheet. So go ahead and get that down. Remember, we're starting at the y-intercept. We're going up 2 and over 5 to get the line. Now the next problem on the worksheet, ooh, what just happened? The next problem on the worksheet is y equals negative 3/5 x minus 5. And in this case, the slope is a negative 3, and the y-intercept is -5. So I'm going to start again down here at -5 and put in a point right on my y-axis. Now my slope needs to be a fraction, so I'm going to write -3 as -3/1. Or I can write it as +3/-1. And that's important because when I look at my graph, it's kind of hard to go down 3 from my current graph. I can try 1, 2, 3, and then overwrite 1, and I can put a point right there. So let me drop that in, but it's off the graph, so it doesn't look really good. So I could use this other form here, and I can go, instead of down 3 and right 1, I can go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and left 1. And then I can place my point right on the graph, right there. And you can see that all those points fall on the same line. And then to finish the problem off, I go ahead and draw on the line that connects the points. So that's our second example. Now, why don't we go ahead and take a second to have you try example 3. I'm going to be doing it here without talking, and then you can check your answer when you're done, and the sub can pause the video if need be. So go ahead and get started. Okay, so pause the video if you need a little more time. I'm going to explain the solution here now. We have, whoa, what the heck was that? We have, in this problem, a y-intercept of 3. So I went to the y-axis to 3, and a slope of -2/1. So I counted down 2 and over 1, and plotted the point. Let's move on to problem 4. Now in problem 4, this is a little trickier because our equation is y equals x. But that's really not in slope-intercept form. In slope-intercept form, it's going to be y equals 1x plus 0. So my slope here is 1, and as a fraction, it's up 1/1. And my y-intercept is 0. So when I draw this line, I get to go right to the origin to start there. Oh, come on here. There we go. And then I'm going to go up 1/1. And, you know, I could keep going up 1/1 all I want. And you'll see my line continues through all those points. So that's kind of an easy one. The trick there is you had to supply the slope, and put that 1 in front of the x right there, and then the y-intercept, of course, was 0. All right, now problem 5 and 6, those are just to test how well you remember the problems. And sure enough, if you see x equals 3, that's going to be a line every place where the x's have a value of 3. Ooh, I can't fix it, I don't think. So I almost drew a straight line there. And of course, problem 4 is instead of a vertical line, y equals -4, that's going to be an instance of a horizontal line, every place where y is -4. So that's graphing using slope-intercept form. Now as we move on with this worksheet, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come up with the equation of a line in slope-intercept form, given some information. So all we need to do here is plug values in. Oh, there's that silly line again. There's my pen. So I'm going to start off y equals mx plus b. And in this problem, the slope is equal to 1. So I put 1 in for the slope right here. And then the y-intercept, that's b, and in this case that's also 1. I'll put in a different color here. The y-intercept, I just plug in the 1 for that. And there is the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So let's look at the next one. Problem number 8. Good, the slope and y-intercept are different here. So again, we're going to start off with y equals mx plus b. And we're going to put -3 in for m. We will put 4 in for b, and we're done. Now, before I move on, I just want to point out to you that Mac, you should get your head off the desk, and those of you with earbuds in right now, take them out. Talia, people in the back corner of the room, Justin, and you can put your feet down, and let's move on. Our next problem is the same. We're just putting in the slope, and it's okay, the slope is a fraction, y equals 2/5 x. And now the y-intercept here is 3. I'm going to do a plus 3. If it was a -3, I'd write a -3 instead of a plus 3, but it's positive, so y equals 2/5 x plus 3. Isn't that a good 5? It's a 5 with an extra tail. I wonder if I can erase a little bit of that. Let's see. I'm playing now. Here we go. Ooh, yay me. This is pretty cool. Alright, the next problem. Now, here we go. Now, we need to write the equation of the line, and we're just given a graph. And there's 2 pieces of information we need. The slope and the y-intercept. And the y-intercept's pretty easy. The y-intercept is that point where the line crosses the axis. So I can see this blue line crosses the axis right there at -1. Now what I need to do is find another place where this blue line crosses the point. I see one way up here. So I want to fill in the rise over the run. And to get from one point to the next, I'm going to count here. So to get from the y-intercept, I see I go up 3 units. That's my rise. And I run 4 units. So my slope is 3/4. So now that I have those pieces of information, I can supply the equation of the line. I'm going to go back to y equals mx plus b. So y equals my slope, which is 3/4, times x plus a -1, or y equals 3/4 x minus 1. All right, the next problem. Try this one on your own, and Ooh, which problem are we on here? Yeah, good. Problem 11. I can see in problem 11 here that we need to remember to find the slope and the y-intercept. And if a line is rising from left to right, the slope's going to be a positive number, and if it's falling, it's going to be a negative number. So in this particular problem, it's easiest to start with the y-intercept, and I see that this crosses the y-axis right up here at 5. And if I find another point on this line where the blue line crosses, you can see it's right down there. And to get from one place to the other, my rise, this time I'm going down 5. So that's a negative. So my slope is negative 5 over, and I see that instead of going right, I'm going left. So I went down 5, and I'm going left 2 units. So my run is negative 2. Oops, I put that in yellow. Oh well. And we know a negative divided by negative is a positive. So my slope is positive 5/2. And the equation of my line is then y equals m, which is 5/2, x, plus b, and that's 5. All right, moving on to problem 12. Whoops, what do I have to do? Go there, problem 12, and here we go. In problem 12, I've got to find my slope and my y-intercept. And I see my slope is negative, or my y-intercept is negative 3. And if I look closely, my slope, I go up 1 and over 1. So my slope is a positive 1. So in this problem, y equals 1x minus 3, or just y equals x minus 3. Problem number 13. Now notice on 13, the line is falling. So when I see that, my slope is going to be negative. Right? Again, my y-intercept I'm going to start with, that's at negative 4. I'm going to look for a couple points on the line here, and I see one down here at my y-intercept. Maybe, there. And then I see another one over here. And to get from one point to the other, I'm going to go up 1 for my rise. And then my run, ooh, let's go green, new color. My run goes left, so that's a negative value. It's going left 3 units, so that's a negative 3. So the equation of the line in slope-intercept form is simply y equals m, negative 1/3, times x, plus b, but b is negative, so it's a minus 4. All right, let's look at problem number 14. Now we're going to use our new formula. And we want to write this answer in slope-intercept form. But in this case, I'm given a point. It's through the point 2, 2, and it has a slope of 3/2. So point slope form again is y minus y sub 1 equals m, the slope, times x minus x sub 1. I tell you what, I want to show you how to put these in slope-intercept form tomorrow in class. So we'll leave all of these in point slope form. Unless the sub is a mathematician, and then the sub can show you how to go from point slope form to slope-intercept. But I'll leave them in point slope form right now. So remember, every ordered pair is an x and a y. So that makes this x1 and that y1. So all I have to do is plug in my values. I just have to take y minus y from my point, which is a 2, equals the slope, which is 3/2, times x minus x sub 1 is also 2. So there the x and the y's are the same. So we plug them in, and hopefully you're not confused on which is which. But if I look at the next problem, I think problem 15 has a different value for x and y. Sure enough, it does. So let's go ahead and do this one. Again, 1 is my x sub 1, 2 is my y sub 1. So I'm going to start off y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So y minus my y value for my point, which is a 2, equals my slope, which is 4, times x minus x sub 1, which is 1. And I'm done. That leaves one more problem for us. Problem number 16. And sure enough, these problems got generated, so the x and y values are the same. So y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. Y minus 4 equals 3/2 times x minus 4. Just plugging in the values. And that's it. So now the sub's going to pass out some homework for you to get started on. Get that done in class. You should have plenty of time now to finish it up, and use these notes to help you solve the problems. I'll see you tomorrow.